Is the LG G6 the best phone LG's ever made? Let's find out. Dave Taylor here, and this time we're looking at the LG G6. That's this. This is a nice return to form for LG. Not every one of their smartphones, not all the generations of their G series have been great, but this one's very nice. There's a lot of features I like about it. Starting with the nice, bright, colorful 5.7-inch screen. You can see here, it's not quite edge to edge. It's not going over the edge, as is the modern style. Not everyone likes that, but it's a nice big screen, and it's a nice build quality. The outside is all metal, has a good feel to it, and LG is doing something on this phone that I think is just a trend for the future. It has a fingerprint sensor, cool, we've seen that, but it's not down here, it's on the back. So I can pick it up, touch the back with my finger as I go, and then it unlocks and I'm ready to rock and roll. Now, to be fair, it doesn't always work, but we'll come back to that. So, this G6 is powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 821 running Android 7.0, and it has 32 gigabytes of storage with 4 gigabytes of RAM, and it supports micro SD. Apple, when are you going to add micro SD to the iPhone series? Come on. This phone with micro SD supports up to 2 terabytes. Although I have not seen 2 terabyte micro SD cards on the market, they are coming. And that's a crazy amount of storage for a smartphone. Even if you're watching lots of movies, even if you're doing, I don't know what, 3D calculations, there's a lot of storage. Now, also is a USB-C based unit. So the plug on the bottom here is actually USB-C. It's not Lightning, it's not micro USB, it's a whole nother connector. Now, USB-C is really nice because it gives Android devices that same benefit that iPhone users have been enjoying for a while, which is that when you plug things in, there's no orientation to the plug. I hate micro SD. It is such a pain. It is such a pain to have to look at the plug, look at the connector, and then orient it correctly, because if you do it the wrong way, sometimes it doesn't fit in, but other times it'll go in and it'll damage the device. Who invented micro USB? You should be fired. So, USB-C, huge improvement and faster. It also, this features a 3300 milliamp hour battery, which is good because it goes through the battery. Now, most people charge it overnight and you get up in the morning, and by the end of the afternoon, in middle of the evening, you're starting to need to juice it up again. But one of the things this phone has is it has optionally an always-on time and display, and I've found that that by itself consumes a substantial amount of battery, to the point where if I actually charge the phone fully and then leave it sitting untouched, within 48 hours it'll be dead because that ate up all the battery. So if this is going to be your day-to-day phone, you might think about whether you want to turn that feature on or not. If you have lots of charging stations everywhere in your life, you're good to go. So 5.7-inch screen with 2880 by 1400 resolution at 565 dots or points per inch, or pixels per inch, not points per inch, it's not printed. And it's an 18:9 aspect ratio, which is a little non-standard because most what you see is 16:9. So what that means is that there are some applications and some programs you can run where you get a little bit of a bar on the side, so sort of squishing to that smaller resolution. But for the majority of the stuff I've used, certainly like looking at photos and streaming video and stuff, you get that full resolution and there's just a little bit more screen real estate. Pretty nice. Why they went non-standard, I'm not sure, but hey. So, the LG 6 also features two rear-facing camera, and they're at basically different focal widths. So here I have 2 photos. I stood in exactly the same place, and this first one is the 120-degree wide angle, and then this photo is the more regular standard, I don't know, I think it's like 65-degree regular camera, and they're 13 megapixel. Both of these photos look terrific zoomed in. And then on the front, although you can barely see that there's anything there, there is a 5 megapixel front camera that also has the option of going wide or having it be a little tighter, which is to say it's basically like zoomed in a little bit. Really like the camera on this, and to me, honestly, with smartphones, the camera is one of the biggest places that these companies are competing, and one of their biggest differentiators, because they all take calls, they all run Facebook, they all have Twitter apps, you know, they all do the same basic thing. So where's the differentiator? One of those is, in fact, the camera. Now, this also has wireless charging, and it's water resistant, rated IP68, which means if you drop it in the sink, you're good to go. If you drop it in the ocean, by the time you recover it, probably not so much. But 30 minutes at 3 feet depth, supposed to work fine. I haven't tested it. I'm pretty sure that the AT&T that loaned me this phone would not be happy if I sent it back and said, well, that waterproofing was a little optimistic. But hey, I'm sure this is in fact waterproof. Now, one thing about the G6 that people who own the LG G5 are going to be cranky about is that it doesn't have a removable battery. G5, you could actually pop out the battery, put in a different one, so you could have 2 batteries for really long days. When you're starting to run low on juice, you just swap batteries, you're good to go. You can't do that on this. The G6 doesn't have that feature. But, you know, there are 1,000,001 external battery chargers going from the size of a lipstick to what? To this size phone, to twice this size, to 10 times this size, to actual wall plugs. So I don't think that's a showstopper, but it's definitely something to know if you're looking at the G6 and you have the G5. It also has something that is perhaps going to become non-standard over time. It is an actual headphone jack. You can actually plug headphones into this. Pretty interesting idea, actually. And let's see, what else can I tell you? The G6 is the only handset that actually runs Google Assistant full out, plus LG's Assistant called Bixby. And so, well, to be fair, so it runs Google Assistant. Also, the Google Pixel does, but this is the only non-Google phone that has that feature. If you were hugely into Google, then having Google Assistant on here is nice. And let's see, the only other thing I'll say is that some users have said that because the back surface has a glass, the back has a glass surface on it, that some users have reported that it's a bit prone to scratching. I haven't had any issues, but I haven't really used it aggressively over the course of months or years. So again, something to know. Now, the other thing I want to come back to is the fingerprint sensor. And I will say that I've been a little disappointed with this, because when the phone's off and I push the sensor, because it's also a button, then sometimes that wakes the phone up all the way, and other times it wakes the phone up halfway, and it says, fingerprint sensor can't be used, and gives me the chance to punch in a pin. It doesn't tell me why the fingerprint sensor can't be used. I'm always using the same finger. Slightly awkward statement, but it's just not 100% reliable. Now, by comparison with other phones that I've used with fingerprint sensors, 100% of the time, if it's locked and I push on it, it unlocks. So this might be something that's inside maybe LG software, or maybe it's some element of Android 7 that I'm not fully aware of, but that's something else worth knowing. Overall, though, I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the G6. It takes really nice photos. It has a really wonderful feel to it. I really like the metal edge and everything. It just feels really nice. And the screen's big and bright and colorful, really, and it's fast. And that's pretty much what I'm looking for in a smartphone. Now, you can find out what I'm looking for in a smartphone by subscribing to my channel. So click that button, and then you can see my other videos. Thank you. Now, the only other question is, how much does this thing cost? Now, this one is through AT&T Wireless, and it will run you $719 if you want to buy it flat out, or you can use AT&T's purchase program, and then it's down to $24 a month. So that's pretty painless. So other carriers are going to have it at different prices. It also comes in ice gray, which is this color, or black. And lots of options, lots of different places you can pick up one of these LG G6 phones. But as for me, I'm impressed. I think LG is moving very much in the right direction, and this is a definite contender. If you're looking for a great modern Android phone, I would check out the LG G6. This is Dave Taylor, and I'll catch you in my next video.